is Jessica Belt. I am a single mom, also one of the owners at Woodland Strength and Conditioning, as well as the head coach and a professional powerlifter. I started in CrossFit first, and then I made the transition over because I really liked weight training a lot more than burpees. Being 5'9", burpees are not one of my best friends. I started drinking pretty early. From a small town in Jonesboro, there's not a whole lot to do. My dad left, moved to New Jersey, so my mom was on her own and raising us, and she worked quite a few jobs, and I had an older brother that, you know, he was getting into that kind of thing, and I kind of fell in with him. And I do say I drank like an idiot. I wasn't somebody that had to drink every day. I could go a week without drinking, but it's once I cracked that bottle, I wasn't stopping until I was blackout. And that would go for 4 or 5 days. And I literally would drink myself till I blacked out. And it didn't matter where I was. It didn't matter who I was around. I woke up with people I didn't know, not, you know, sexually, but I woke up in houses with people around me that I didn't know how I got there. I'm like, and they're like, you didn't remember coming to this party? No. I was so done. I was done with life. I was done with everything because I didn't think that I was good enough to be a parent. I didn't think that I was good enough to do anything because all I kept doing was messing stuff up. All I kept doing was getting things wrong, and I couldn't make right decisions. And so all I kept doing was drinking in order to mask everything that I was trying to cope with because I was incapable of coping. I couldn't. I basically picked up the bottle, and like I said, I wasn't going to stop until I was dead. And in the back of my mind, I said, well, at least we're somewhere where, you know, they've got her. I didn't think about me not waking up and her seeing that. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about anything. I just wanted everything over. I didn't want to feel anymore. I didn't want to feel anything, because I felt like nothing I did was right. I couldn't get a foot up. I couldn't. For every step I thought I would take forward, I was taking 4 more back. And so drinking was my way of not having to worry about anything, because once I got to that point where I was blackout, I didn't function anymore. I didn't feel anything anymore because I was so numb. I couldn't move. And I would spend 3 days like that. And I know that day I woke up, I don't know how I got to my parents' house. I don't know how I drove, but I did. And I woke up when I remember last as being in the hospital room, and my stepmom sitting across from me with my daughter in my lap, or in her lap. And and I just looked at her and I said, never again. I look at how selfish I was, and I know I can never do that again. I could never go back to that. And I look at Sterling and I go, and I ask her, you know, I go, do you remember when Mommy used to drink alcohol? And she doesn't remember, or she says she doesn't remember. And I go, thank God. Thank God that's not who she remembers me as, and she can remember me what I am now, and not what I was when I was a drunken idiot that couldn't control anything. And that was the biggest problem, is I had no self-control. I didn't want to have it. My first powerlifting competition was in April of 2014. I was a 148 lifter. I ended up with 3 state records and best lifter at that meet, which was really great. In July, I did my first national competition in Las Vegas. I broke the current state records that I held, and took home the national title. November, I did the world's competition where I went on and broke my state records again, took home the world championship title. February of 2015, I did the Los Angeles Fit Expo, took home the LA Fit title for my weight class, which was really cool. I think that there are a lot of athletes out there that struggle with it more than you would think. I know that people look at the fitness industry and they think that these people take such great care of their bodies, but they don't look at how much work we put on our bodies as well, and how much beat down we put on our bodies, and the stress and the pressure, because even now with me in competing, it's a lot of pressure when you're going into a competition. There are tons of athletes out there that probably look at alcohol as an outlet. You know, they train because that way they can drink, or, you know, they look for an escape. And I look at them and I'd say, maybe look at your training as your therapy, you know. But I think with all addictions is when you're ready to stop, you're ready to stop. But you've got to find what it is that drives you to quit. And for me, that's my daughter, and that's training, powerlifting, and teaching others and helping others get there. One of the things that I do like to do here is we do have some people that have had a history with alcohol, or, you know, struggled, and, you know, I bring them in and say, let's try this. Let's give you this outlet and see if this helps you. And for some of them it has, and it's worked great. And I always tell people, I post regularly on my social media outlets. You know, my first year I posted monthly, you know, and said, this is what I'm doing in training, and this is what's keeping me on the right path, is when I think about drinking, I step on the platform and I take my aggression out there, you know, or I step, you know, and go take my daughter to a movie and, you know, watch her do cartwheels for an hour. Those are my outlets. I believe my purpose here is to help others, because I look back on that day and I say it again, God kept me here. And if I'm alive, then there's a reason I'm alive. And if I can help one person and show one person that there is a way out, there is a way to get better, there is a way to do better, then that's what I want to be here for. And I want to help other people get better one way or another.